Hello everyone, it's Carrah and welcome back to my channel. Today I have kind of a surprise video for you guys. I did not announce that I was going to do this on any of my social media pages. However, a couple videos ago I did say that I wanted to do Galaxy tutorials, but I didn't really know how to go about doing that without the video being insanely long. So I decided to kind of break it down into different videos. This one is a Galaxy artwork using Derwent Inktense pencils, and I actually got this set, this is a 12 set, in my February sketchbox box. So I've done a couple of pieces with this already. Actually, I've done very similar pieces with this. This is probably the third time I've drawn this almost exact same piece. But I really enjoy using them. They're a lot of fun, and I just want to talk about my process using them and creating this little galaxy looking artwork. The first thing I want to take note of is the pen I used for the line art. For the line art, I used a Micron 01 pen in the shade black, and I believe that a artwork in this sort of style with a galaxy would also look good with a blue or purple Micron. You might be able to get away with a pink one, but it might be a little on the light side, so you would want to keep the colors more pastel. All of the items I am using today to create this artwork will be mentioned in the description down below. I will also leave a link to my favorite art supply video because I have links to everything that I love in the description of that, and all of these items are featured in that video. Now I want to talk about how I created this galactic look on this character. The first thing I did was determine how I wanted to lay the colors down. I determined that I wanted the pinks to be more focused on the right side of her and the blues to be more focused on the left side. When using these pencils, it's better to start with a light sketch or fill of the area that you're adding color into, because when you add the water, it adds a ton of saturation and a ton of vibrancy. It's insane how much the pencil changes when water is added. So keeping that in mind, I just started with really light sketches of color in the areas that I wanted them to be in. I also determined I wanted to use the blues as more of a shadow shading technique because it was the darker color, and I saw the pinks as more of a light highlight shade and the blues as more of a shadow shading type of a shade. So you can kind of see by the jawline and under the nose, under the lips, and by the hand, there's a little bit darker blue shading in those areas because I wanted it to pop out more and for her to look a little bit more 3D. I mentioned earlier that you use water to blend out the pencils, and I usually like to use a water barrel brush where the water is held in the barrel, and I just kind of let the water move down on its own. I do no squeezing to the barrel, or else if you add too much water, it kind of takes away all the pigment and gets a little too runny. It's hard to control. But if you kind of just let the water come out on its own, then you're going to have better results and more vibrancy to the pencils. If you are going to use a standard paintbrush, I would suggest not soaking the brush in water, but just getting it slightly damp, because again, if you have too much water on the brush, it'll kind of just take away the colors, bleed it everywhere, and I think you'll have better results when using just a damp paintbrush. If you are unhappy with the opacity or saturation of your artwork, the nice thing about these pencils is that they layer. So just wait for your first layer to dry, and then you can go over the areas that you want to be a little bit darker or a little bit more opaque, and you can add more color to them. Another thing I want to take note of is the harder you press with these pencils, the more opaque and saturated the color is going to turn out once you add the water. But the other thing I noticed when doing that was the colors can sometimes become sort of splotchy, and some areas will lack the pigmentation more than others, which is why I prefer to personally layer it up and just make it darker as I go along. For the stars, I switched between my Gellyroll pen and my Uni-ball Signo pen. And the reason why I did this is because my Gellyroll pen is fine, like the lines are a little bit thinner, while my Uni-ball Signo is broad, which means that the lines are thicker. And personally, I had a hard time getting my Gellyroll to work. You saw a moment ago my hand was just placed on the table and I had a bunch of scribbles all over it. That's from my Gellyroll because it was not wanting to cooperate with the pencils. The Uni-ball Signo, though, went over smoothly. It's a little too broad and the stars get a little too thick for what I want. But the way I solved that was taking my Gellyroll, making sure no ink was coming out of it, and I would scratch away the little star details. So, I mean, I found a way to work with it in the end. Anyways, that's about it for this video. I just want to make one more note, and that note is that this technique will work with most watercolor pencils. So if you don't have these exact ones, you can always use a different type of watercolor pencil. I hope that you guys found this video somewhat helpful. If not, I will try to do a more detailed tutorial in the future. Anyways, if you like this artwork, feel free to leave a like on the video. If you are not already and you'd like to be, subscribe to my channel. And I will see you guys in the next video.